जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare जयो राधा भरिणीश्वर राधे Jayo Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe. Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jayo Radha Gopal Krishna Radha Gopal Krishna Radhe. Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jayo Vrindavana Dham. Jayo Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram. Jayo Gauranitai 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 Jayo Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivijayacharya Sthotra. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivijayacharya Sthotra. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki. Vrindavan Mathura Dham ki. Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Navdeep Mayapur Dham ki. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki. Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki. All Gaurish Assembled Devotees. All Gaurish Assembled Devotees. All Gaurish Assembled Devotees. All Gaurish to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So once again we would like to welcome all the devotees for today morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are discussing from Canto 4, Chapter 1. Today we will discuss 3 shlokas, shloka number 13, 14 and 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayo Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Krishna. Reading from Canto 4, Chapter 1, entitled Genealogical Table of the Daughters of Manu. Text 13 we'll recite first. Then we'll also look at text 14 and text 15. Hare Krishna. Patni Marichas Tu Kala Susuve Kardamatmaja Kashyapam Purnimanam Cha Yayor Apuritam Jagat. Hare Krishna, please repeat after me. Patni Marichastu Kala Shushuve Kardamatmaja Kashyapam Purnimanam Cha Yayor Apuritam Jagat Patni Marichastu Kala Shushuve Kardamatmaja Kashyapam Purnimanam Cha Yayor Apuritam Jagat Patni Marichastu Kala Shushuve Kardamatmaja Kashyapam Purnimanam Cha Yayor Apuritam Jagat. Hare Krishna. Jagat Marishastu Kala Sushuve Kardamatmaja Kashyapam Purnimanam Cha Prajutam Jagat Shuve Kardamatmaja Kashyapam Purnimanam Cha Patni Marichastu Kala Shuve Hare Krishna. Patni Marichastu Kala Atmaja Yora Puritam Jagat Patni Marichastu Kala Hare Krishna. Word to word translation. Patni, wife. Maricha, of the sage named Marichi. Tu, also. Kala, named Kala. Shushuve, gave birth. Kardama Atmaja, daughter of Kardama Muni. Kashyapam, of the name Kashyapa. Purnimanam Cha, and of the name Purnima. Yayo, by whom? Apuritam, spread all over. Jagat, the world. Translation, please repeat after me. Kardama Muni's daughter, Kala, who was married to Marichi, gave birth to two children, whose names were Kashyapa and Purnima. Their descendants are spread all over the world. Hare Krishna. Text 14. Purnima Ashuta Virajam Viswagam Cha Parantapa Deva Kulyam Hare Pada Sauchat Yabhut Sarit Diva. Translation. My dear Vidura, of the two sons, Kashyapa and Purnima, Purnima begot three children, namely Viraja, Vishwaga and Devakulya. Of these three, Devakulya was the water which washed the lotus feet of personality of Godhead and which later on transformed into the Ganges of the heavenly planet. Purport. Of the two sons Kashyapa and Purnima, herein Purnima's descendants are described. An elaborate description of these descendants will be given in the 6th canto. It is also understood here that Devakulya is the presiding deity of the river Ganges, which comes down from the heavenly planets to this planet and is accepted to be sanctified because it touched the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. Hare Krishna. Text 15. Atreya patni anusuya trin Jajne suyasa sutan Dattam durvasam somam Atmesha brahma sambhavan. Anusuya, the wife of Atri Muni, gave birth to three very famous sons, Soma, Dattatreya and Durvasa, who were partial representation of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Soma was a partial representation of Lord Brahma, Dattatreya was partial representation of Lord Vishnu and Durvasa was partial representation of Lord Shiva. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. In this verse, we find the words Atma, Isha, Brahma, Sambhavan. Atma means the super soul or Vishnu, Isha means Lord Shiva and Brahma means the four-headed Lord Brahma. The three sons born of Anusuya, Dattatreya, Durvasa and Soma were born as the partial representation of these three demigods. Atma is not in the category of the demigods or living entities because he is Vishnu. Therefore, he is described as Vibhinamsha Bhutanam, the super soul. Vishnu is the seed-giving father of all living entities, including Brahma and Lord Shiva. Another meaning of the word Atma may be accepted in this way. The principle who is the super soul in every Atma, or one may say the soul of everyone, became manifest as Dattatreya, because the word Amsha, part and parcel, is used here. In Bhagavad Gita, the individual souls are also described as part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Super Soul. And so why not accept that Dattatreya was one of those parts? Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are also described here as parts. So why not accept all of them as ordinary individual souls? The answer is that the manifestation of Vishnu and those of the ordinary living entities are certainly all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and no one is equal to him, but among the part and parcels there are different categories. In the Varaha Purana, it is nicely explained that some of the parts are Swamsha and some are Vibhinamsha. Vibhinamsha parts are called Jivas and Swamsha parts are in the Vishnu category. In the Jiva category, the Vibhinamsha parts and parcels, there are also gradations. This is explained in the Vishnu Puran, where it is clearly stated that the individual part and parcel of the Supreme Lord are subject to being covered by the external energy called illusion or Maya. Such individual part and parcels who can travel to any part of the Lord's creation are called Sarvagata and are suffering the pangs of material existence. They are proportionately freed from the covering of the ignorance under material existence according to the different level of work and under different influence of the modes of material nature. For example, the suffering of jiva situated in the mode of goodness are less than those of jiva situated in the mode of ignorance. Pure Krishna consciousness, however, is the birthright. Pure Krishna consciousness, however, is the birthright of all living entities, because every living entity is part and parcel of Supreme Lord. The consciousness of the Lord is also in the part and parcel, and according to the proportion to which the consciousness is cleared of material dirt, the living entities are differently situated. In the Vedanta Sutra, the living entities of different gradations are compared to the candles or lamps with different candle power. For example, some electric bulbs have the power of 1000 candles, some have the power of 500 candles, and some the power of 100 candles, and some 50 candles. But all electric bulbs have light. Light is present in every bulb, but the gradation of light are different. Similarly, the gradations of Brahman, the Vishnu Somsha, expansion of Supreme Lord, is different Vishnu forms are like lamps. Lord Shiva is also like a lamp, and the supreme candle power or the 100% light is Krishna. The Vishnu Tattva has 94%, the Shiva Tattva has 84%, Lord Brahma has 78%, and the living entities are also like Brahma. But in the conditioned state, their power is still more dim. They are gradations of Brahman, and no one can deny this fact. Therefore, the words Atmesha Brahma Sambhavan indicate that Datreya was directly part and parcel of Vishnu, whereas Durvasa and Soma were part and parcel of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Long purport by Srila Prabhupada to explain this concept. So before we start, Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Miritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giri Yat Kripatam Ham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramahananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. I'll read the translation again of the last shloka 4.1.15. Anusuya, the wife of Atri Muni, gave birth to the very three famous sons, Soma, Dattatreya and Durvasa, who were the partial representation of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Soma was a partial representation of Lord Brahma, Dattatreya was a partial representation of Lord Vishnu, and Durvasa was a partial representation of Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna. So once again, we would like to welcome all of you for today morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today we are discussing from the chapter Genealogical Table of the Daughter of Manu. So this is the title of the chapter, and the topic specifically which is under consideration, or which is we are discussing today, is now the descendants of the daughter of Kardama Muni and Devahuti, correct? And Devahuti was, who was Devahuti? Yeah, she was the second daughter of Swayambhu Manu. In the last two verses before 4.13 and 4.14, we read about some other daughters. 4.15 specifically talks about Anusuya, but before that we spoke about Kala and Kashyapa, and who gave birth, like Kala, who gave birth to Kashyapa and Purnima. And then we also discussed about the three children they had, and which was Devakulya. They discussed about Ganges, who is Devakulya. Now in this verse, we hear about another daughter, which is Anusuya, who is daughter of Kardama Muni and Devahuti, and she was also the wife of Atri Muni. Okay, and it is very remarkable that they had these three children who were the actually expansion or partial expansion of Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva. And how these three children were born to them will be revealed in the future shlokas. So we are not going to discuss about how these children were actually revealed, but we will discuss about the purport, what Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain here about Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha, and we also will discuss about these three personalities a little bit, who is Dattatreya, who is Soma, and who is Durvasa. So first, the partial expansion of Lord Vishnu is called Dattatreya, correct? Dattatreya means Datta and Atreya, if you split the name, correct? Atreya means what? Son of Atri is called Atreya. And Datta means? One who gives. Datta, Datta you say, they are Datta. So Dattatreya means one who gives, who is the son of Atri, who gives actually. And what is he giving? What is Dattatreya famous for giving? Transcendental knowledge. Yeah. He is Gyan, he gives Gyan, right? And he is the partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So, Soma is the partial expansion of partial expansion of Brahma, and also is considered as a partial expansion of moon god. Yeah, and Durvasa is everybody knows about Durvasa. We have heard so much about Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni is the partial expansion of who? Lord Shiva. So this Trinity, is represented in this family, and they are born as their children, and which is not ordinary, which is quite exceptional actually. To have partial expansion of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva to be born in your family. So we'll first discuss about the principle which Srila Prabhupada explains in this purport, and then discuss about these personalities. The principle of partial representation of Supreme Absolute Truth is a very important concept which Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain here. Srila Prabhupada makes an important point here that Brahman has gradations. Brahman means what? What is Brahman? We learned Bhagavad Gita so much. What is Brahman? Absolute truth, spirit, soul, correct? Or the supreme absolute truth is called Brahman. The Lord's, the super soul is called Brahman. And Brahman, they say, has gradations. Okay? And what is meant by these gradations? Broadly, there are two gradations. What is our two gradations of Brahman? Yeah, Swamsha and Vibhinamsha. One is called Swamsha and second is called Vibhinamsha. And Prabhupada says Swamsha means that is in the category of God, that is Vishnu Tattva. For example, Lord Narsimha, Lord Ram, Lord Narayan, they are all Vishnu Tattva, they are all Swamsha. And then there is Vibhinamsha. Vibhinamsha means separated. What is separated part and parcel of Krishna? Separated part and parcel of Brahman. Who are they? The Jiva. Jiva is called Vibhinamsha. And even amongst Amsha, there are different categories. So there is broad two categories, Amsha and Vibhinamsha. And within Amsha, there is more gradation, more separation. Okay? And these gradations of Godhead, even though broad category of God, but even this broad category of God, there are gradations. So we look at the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where the shloka is explaining that how Krishna is the supreme fountainhead of all the incarnations. So what is that shloka? Ete cha kalapumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indradivyakulam Lokam Vidyanti Yuge Yuge. So if you read the purport of this shloka, Prabhupada explains beautiful things. It's Etesha. Etesha means all the above. Who are the above? What is being described above in the shloka before this? Yeah, 22 incarnation. But he specifically talks about the three. He talks about the three Purusha avatars. Correct? He talks specifically. And this says, the three Purusha. Who are the three Purusha avatars? Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Sirodakshaya Vishnu and Karanodakshaya Vishnu. These three Purusha avatars, okay, what are they? Etecha. These three Amshas are what? Amsha. They are my Amsha. They are my part and parcel. Okay? But all these Amshas are coming from whom? Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Sayam. It's coming from Krishna. Which means Krishna is the origin of all these forms of God. And Prabhupada gives a beautiful analogy here of the candle. And Prabhupada has given this candle analogy many times. If you read throughout Veda base, if you type this, you will see multiple times Prabhupada has actually given this analogy of the candle. He says that with one candle you can light 50 candles. And if you look at, there is no distinction between, the first candle and the 50th candle. But Prabhupada says there is always this original candle, which actually lights the remaining 49 candles. Correct? So that original candle, Prabhupada says, is Lord Shri Krishna. And Prabhupada also mentions in this purport, he says that, he gives the example of bulb. He says bulbs have different illumination, right? You can put a 100-watt bulb, you can put a 50-watt bulb, you can put a 60-watt bulb, you can put a 0-watt bulb also, right? Different bulbs have different illuminations. But the common thing is what about these bulbs? They all give light. They are all illuminating. But the 100-watt bulb, which is 100%, what is what? Krishna. And he gives that Krishna is 100%, Shiva is lesser than that, Brahma is much lesser than that, and then Jivas probably. And then he says that everybody is in different modes. Depending on the modes, the light actually, depending on your consciousness, the illumination of the bulb depends. So if your consciousness is in mode of ignorance, probably, 0 watt bulb. If you are in mode of goodness, probably you are close to 50-60 watt bulb. So depending on your modes in which you are, that is how swamsha actually. So and that is how it is. And similarly, Prabhupada says that doesn't matter if it is swamsha or vibhinamsha, one thing is common in that. What is that common thing which is there in swamsha or vibhinamsha? What is the common thing? They are parts of Krishna, amsha of Krishna. Yeah, that is parts of Krishna. But also one more thing is there. What is that? What is the common thing between amsha, vibhinsha? What doesn't matter which category you are. There is one common thing. They all are consciousness. They all have consciousness. Okay, everybody has consciousness. And now, as with regards to swamsha is concerned, in that purport of that shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, Yetecha Kalapamsha, Sri Prabhupada mentions that incarnation of the Lord represents different aspects of Lord's power according to the need of the situation. So Krishna, we understand, Bhagavan is full in 6 opulences. But when he incarnates, plenary expansion, when that happens, it is not necessary that he will actually exhibit all the 6 actually gunas, or all the 6 opulences. Depending on the situation, some aspects of Lord's powers are described. For example, Srila Prabhupada mentions in that purport that Lord Nrsimhadev or Lord Parshuram, they represented a certain aspect of power to actually annihilate the miscreants. They represented certain power of power. Or, for example, Lord Ram or Lord Dhanvantri, what they represent? Which power of Lord, which opulence of Lord they represent? Fame. They represent the potency of fame. Lord Ram or Lord Parshuram represents the potency of fame. Nar Narayan Rishi, what they represent? Austerity, Vairagya, renunciation. Dattatreya and Kapila, what they represent? Knowledge. Narad Muni and Buddha, what they represent? Yeah, exhibiting the quality of restoring faith in the people at large. Prabhupada is saying, these are exactly the words from Prabhupada in that purport. They say that these are exhibited the quality of restoring faith in the people at large. In this way, there are different incarnations of Lord and who manifest in this world, but 2 things are there. One, they exhibit different potency, they according to the need. They exhibit according to the need, and they exhibit also different aspects of Lord's personality and quality as per the need. Okay, different aspects and different quality. Now, amongst the names that are mentioned above, like Prabhupada mentions that, Swamsha and some are Vibhinamsha. For example, Dattatreya, is it Swamsha or Vibhinamsha? Prabhupada says that he is Vibhinamsha. Dattatreya is Vibhinamsha. But he is the incarnation, partial incarnation of Vishnu. Yeah, but he is what? Vibhinamsha. Okay, he says that even though he is a partial incarnation, he comes in the category of Vibhinamsha. But his bulb is what? Very high, 95%, close to. Because he is Vibhinamsha does not mean that his bulb is emanating less. Okay, and whereas Kurma, Matsya, all of them are what? In the which there? Kurma, Matsya, Rama, Balarama, they are all? Yes. So all the candles of God category are the same. They represent different aspects of power and different aspects of Lord's quality. Okay, that's what it is. So this is an important point, how different avatars are simultaneously one and different. Simultaneously they are one, at the same time they are different. What do you call? Achintya Veda Veda Tattva it is. They are at the same time same, at the same time different. Now Prabhupada also mentions about jivas. Okay, jivas also exhibit different levels of consciousness. Some are in mode of goodness, some are in mode of ignorance, some are in mode of passion. So there are different gradations in Vibhinamsha depending on the modes which they are in. Okay, so but the consciousness is there everywhere. Everywhere there is consciousness. Now, what I wanted to actually explain, Prabhupada wanted to explain here is that, but the source of all these, Swamsha and Vibhinsha is what? Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything. Okay, and when we see now in this verse, we are talking about the three children who were born. We were Dattatreya, Soma, and Durvasa. They are also the partial incarnation. Now we will first discuss about Dattatreya. Dattatreya is the partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and who came as what? Who came as a philosopher, who came as a teacher, who came to give us the transcendental knowledge. Okay, who is a teacher of Sankhya Yoga. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, if you read first canto, third chapter, Dattatreya is mentioned that he gives teaching to all. Who all he gives teaching to? Anybody knows? He gives teaching to a lot of big personalities. He gives teaching to Prahlad, Yadu, Alarka, Hayai, and so on. So he is the proponent of the transcendental knowledge. And Dattatreya was also mentioned in the 11th canto. Sri Krishna himself mentions about Dattatreya. Which section of 11th canto it is mentioned of Dattatreya? Anybody knows? Dattatreya mentioned 11th canto. 11th canto in Uddhav Gita. Actually, you know Uddhav Gita, when Krishna had decided that he is going to actually depart from this world, Uddhava also wanted to actually go along with Krishna. Right? But Krishna said that it's not for you, it's not the time, you need to stay and actually preach Krishna consciousness. You need to go and actually go to where? Badrika Ashram, and teach the sages about the science of devotional service. Because those sages are practicing Ashtanga Yoga or Jnana Yoga, you need to go and actually propagate what? The aspect of devotional service. So at that time, Uddhava asked Krishna that please explain, give me some last instructions before you leave. And then Krishna speaks Uddhav Gita. How many chapters Uddhav Gita, Bhagavatam? How many chapters are there? 23 chapters. Actually, Krishna speaks continuously Uddhav Gita to Uddhava. And in that, in 23 chapters, Krishna actually specifically speaks about an interesting incident with Dattatreya. About King Yadu is meeting this Avadhuta Brahman. Who is this Avadhuta Brahman? Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Sridhar Swami explains that the Avadhuta Brahman which King Yadu meets in the 11th canto is none other than Dattatreya. Yeah? And who is Avadhuta? What does Avadhuta means? Madman, he's saying, madman. One who is unconventional, right? Who actually do not follow the societal norms, who does not follow the rules and regulations of the society. But there is an important quality. Tomorrow if I do not start following the society's rules and regulation, that does not mean I am Avadhuta. Avadhuta means he should have transcendental knowledge. Otherwise all the hippies Prabhupada met should be Avadhutas, right? But they did not have the transcendental knowledge. So transcendental knowledge, but he does not follow the societal norms. He does not follow the normal customs and traditions. He is called Avadhuta. And that Avadhuta Brahman, Avadhuta, who had met King Yadu, was actually none other than Dattatreya. And he talks about what? What is the topic? Yes, gurus. How many gurus? 24 gurus he speaks about. And he speaks about gurus. He starts from that how his guru is earth, how his guru is water, fire, sky. So many examples, mountains he gives. So he is the first, person who says how from nature, how we actually, how nature can teach us so many things. At the same time, he talks about, he explains that how these different gurus. That does not mean that we tomorrow go and accept them as guru, correct? But he is an Avadhuta. He has a transcendental knowledge. So he is explaining that how these have become Siksha gurus for them. So Dattatreya is the partial expansion of Vishnu. At the same time, he comes here to actually give the knowledge, transcendental knowledge. Now we will talk about Soma. Soma is who? The partial expansion of Brahma or moon god. Right? There are two Vamshas, right? We always read in Bhagavatam. Surya Vamsha and Soma Vamsha. Chandra Vamsha, Soma Vamsha. So in Surya Vamsha who came? Lord Ram came. And Soma Vamsha who came? Lord Krishna came. Right? So it is mentioned that how Soma, he is actually so blessed because Krishna was born in that Vamsha actually. So when he actually appears in these Vamshas, it is explained that he does activities which are transcendental and sometimes unable to understand. That is why Kunti Maharani in her prayers says that, what she says? That there are so many contradictions in Lord's appearance. She explains that, right? There are so many contradictions. What are the contradictions? She explains. She says that Krishna is unborn. He is Aja, but then he takes birth. Correct? Krishna is one who is Akartuta. Means he doesn't have to do any activities. But Krishna does so many activities. So this way, he is actually full of contradictions. Krishna's birth actually is full, when he comes in incarnation, he is full of contradictions. Krishna can appear in any species, any form, any varna. He can appear as an animal. Right? He appear as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. He can appear as Brahmana. How he appeared as Brahmana? Vamana. He can appear as a Kshatriya. How he appeared as Kshatriya? Parshuram. He appeared as Ram. He appeared as, even, part of, Krishna actually played the role of Vaishya when he was in Vrindavan and played the role of Kshatriya when he was in Dwarka. So he can appear in any form, any species, any varna, but he will always remain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That position will not change. That position he will not change. But when he appears in that form, he actually does activity based on that form. So when he takes a Matsya avatar, he swims like a fish in the water. When he takes appearance as a half lion, half man, he roars like a lion. When he appears as a Varaha, he actually does activity like a Varaha. When in Vrindavan, when he appears as like Krishna, he as a Vaishya, he does activities. He does Go Raksha, Go Palaka, he becomes. So wherever activity, whatever form he did, but when he appears as Lord Kshatriya, he does activities as Kshatriya. So Krishna, as I said, appeared in the dynasty of moon god. And this is how Soma Vamsha is actually famous. Then we will discuss about Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni is who? Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows about his anger. But he is also good at another thing. What is good at apart from anger? Giving boons. Why he is giving boons? Because he can be pleased also easily. Like he has anger, he becomes angry also fast. He also can be pleased also fast. Why Durvasa has this quality? Anybody knows? Lord Shiva Samsha. Shiva is called Ashutosh, gets pleased. Some bale patta you offer to Lord Shiva and ask for any boon, he offers that boon to you. So he is so easily pleased. But he is at the same time, why did Durvasa got angry? Why did Durvasa got angry? Gets anger also this quality. It is said that in Brahmanda Puran, it was explained that one time Lord Shiva became very angry, very enraged, and all the demigods were running helter and skelter here and there. Why? Because they were worried. They wanted to actually not take the wrath of Lord Shiva, so they were actually hiding. At that time, Parvati also became actually, sick. She said that it is very impossible to live with my husband, Lord Shiva. She says like that. And when Lord Shiva hears these words, Lord Shiva understands that, that what he's doing is wrong. He cannot become so angry. So what he does at that point in time, he decides to shed his anger, and part of that anger, actually, he gives, portion of that anger, he actually puts it with Anusuya. He gives to Anusuya, who is the wife of Atri. That is why, because so much anger from Shiva was received, the portion of Shiva's anger was received by Anusuya, that anger actually came to her child, her son, who was Durvasa Muni. That is why it is very important to understand the principles of Garbhadan Samskar. Because the qualities which a mother has is actually given to the child. So it is very important. That is why it is said that as when you are pregnant, you should not become angry. Because your son can become angry. You should not actually, you should read nice things. You should be in good mood. Why? Then that will impact the children. So similarly, here Anusuya had got that anger from Shiva, and that anger was actually transformed to Durvasa Muni. And so it is very important to understand that everybody thinks Durvasa as a mystic yogi. They always actually think that he's a mystic yogi. But you have to understand that there are many pastimes associated with Durvasa Muni, where he becomes angry, at the same time he becomes pleasing. He is associated with the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees. So he's a special soul, Prabhupada says. He's not an ordinary soul. He's a special soul. You cannot consider Durvasa, as a villain. He's very, very special because he has been part and helping Krishna in his Leelas. So many pastimes we know about Durvasa, right? The famous pastime is about Amrish Maharaj, right? Amrish Maharaj was performing tapasya, Ekadashi Vrata, and he was about to break his tapasya, break his Vrata. At that time, Durvasa Muni came, and Amrish Maharaj, honored him as a guest, and there was a time to break, the Adashi breaking time was there. So he was about to break, he wanted to break, but then Durvasa had not come after taking bath. So he was waiting. Then he took the advice of his advisors. So advisors said that you can break the fast by using Charnamrit, because having Charnamrit means same time simultaneous Achinta Beda Beda it is. Breaking and non-breaking same time happens. So Amrisha actually took some Charnamrit and actually broke the fast. Durvasa Muni, being mystic yogi, he understood that Amrisha had broken. And that's when what he does, he takes one hair and then plants it down. I cannot take because I don't have hair. But Durvasa takes a hair and he plants it down, and then a demon comes. A demon comes to actually kill Amrish Maharaj. And Krishna is sitting there actually watching the entire pastime here. He's watching this pastime, and Sudarshana is also watching along with Krishna. Sudarshana says, I cannot actually tolerate this onto my devotee. So Sudarshana immediately leaves and comes there to protect Amrisha, and he immediately kills that demon. Immediately kills. And so Durvasa is astonished to see this, that Sudarshan Chakra is coming and then killing that. After being astonished, he sees that the Sudarshana is now chasing him. He becomes fearful. As soon as he becomes fearful, he is running around to save himself. He goes to everywhere, Brahma, Shiva, everyone, but nobody could save him. He even goes to Vishnu. Vishnu says, I cannot save you. I cannot save you. Why? Because what you have to do. If you have to save yourself, you have to actually go to Amrish Maharaj. And then when he goes to Amrish Maharaj immediately accepts. He does not actually, that is how devotee. Because Krishna says that I remain in the heart of the devotees. I am the servant of the devotees. So I cannot do anything about this. So, but Amrish Maharaj immediately forgives Durvasa Muni, and then Durvasa Muni is accepted. Similarly, the story of, when he goes to meet Pandavas, at that time, he goes to first meet Duryodhana. Duryodhana welcomes and pleases him very nicely. And Duryodhana, why he pleases? Because his mind is crooked. So he wants to ask a boon. What is the boon he is asking? That go and please, this is what he's saying. He's so much concerned about his cousins that he's go and please actually, bless my cousins also. This is what the boon he's asking. And they know, and he sends them after the lunchtime. So he comes there, Akshaya Patra, nothing is there. Even still, Yudhishthira welcomes him and then tells him that please go and take bath, and by then we'll arrange for the lunch. And they have a meeting. Pandavas, what should we do? And the devotee amongst the Pandavas, the best devotee among Pandavas, who's who? Draupadi. Draupadi immediately knows, when there is no solution, the best solution is what? To ask for help from Krishna. So she immediately calls Krishna. Krishna immediately travels from Dwarka, comes to the forest. And where is this happening? This Leela is happening where? In Vrindavan. Kamyavan is where it is happening actually. He comes to Kamyavan, and then he immediately actually says, I am also hungry. Give me something. He says, this is the problem which I called you for. There is nothing here. And then he says that Akshaya Patra, see, something will be there in Akshaya Patra. And there was a small grain or a leaf, whatever, the story goes about. But he takes that grain. And what happens that when he gives the grain, Durvasa Muni doesn't travel alone, right? He travels with 10,000 of his disciples. So it was not that Yudhishthira had to arrange prasadam for Durvasa Muni and 3 disciples. No, 3 servants. When Balaramdesh, when one senior devotee, Prabhupada disciple comes with 1 servant, and when we have to call him for prasadam at our home, so much arrangement we have to make, right? For 1 servant and 1 Prabhupada disciple. Think about Durvasa Muni with 10,000 disciples. So much planning had to be made. But then when Krishna has that, because Krishna is what? When he has that, when he is satisfied, everybody else becomes fully satisfied. It is said that like 10 people's food has been eaten. Now how you eat, like overeat. What happens at that time? When you see the food also, you feel repulsion. That kind of repulsion immediately developed between Durvasa Muni and all his 10,000 disciples. So after some time, Durvasa is still not coming. So Yudhishthira sends Sahadev, says go and see them. So Sahadev goes to see, And Sahadev sees that all of them are actually, they as soon as no, running away. They don't want to actually have any prasadam anymore. This way, Durvasa, so many pastimes are there. This is where he becomes angry, or there where he wanted to exhibit anger. But same time, there is pastimes where he becomes, pleased. Kunti Maharani, he becomes pleased with Kunti Maharani, because Kunti Bhoja knew when Durvasa came, if you don't please him, definitely there is, curse which will come through. So he tells his daughter Kunti that you should serve him very nicely, and she serves him very nicely. And then what does the blessing Kunti ask? Kunti asks that I should be able to actually beget children from any demigods I like. So Durvasa Muni gives her a mantra, and she uses, to test the mantra, she uses first, and Surya Dev comes, and Karna is born, and then she uses the mantra again for all the Pandavas also. Actually, for all the Pandavas are also born through Kunti's mantra generally. So this is how actually Durvasa is very pleased easily. Similarly, when there is, she is pleased because where Radhashtami is coming, beautiful class given by, Radha Kripa. The Radhashtami also, Durvasa becomes pleased with Radharani also. When Durvasa goes, Radharani serves Durvasa Muni very pleasingly. And then when Durvasa Muni becomes pleased, what is the benediction he gives? Whatever she cooks will be nectarian, and whoever eats that will have no disease and will never actually be a very, very long life. Immortal means very, very long life they will live, right? So this is the blessing Durvasa Muni gives. And Yashoda Mai knew about these blessings. So Yashoda Mai purposefully calls Radharani, because what is Yashoda Mai thinking? That I want my son to actually be healthy, and she has to be a nectarian food. So she always calls Radharani and then asks Radharani to cook for Krishna. This is how Durvasa Muni, even though you think that he is a mystic yogi, he always gives curse. No, he also helps Krishna in his pastimes. He also helps Radharani in his pastimes. So he is actually a very powerful person. Very, very powerful person. How Dattatreya is a powerful person, how Soma is a powerful person, also Durvasa Muni is a powerful person. Don't consider that Durvasa Muni is a villain, or he only gives curse like that. Yeah. So this is where today Shloka explains how these three children are born and how they are partial expansion. So just to recap, we discussed today about that how is Prabhupada explains about Swamsha and Vibhinamsha, and then he explained that how Swamsha means Vishnu Tattvas and Jiva Tattvas are Vibhinamsha, but Dattatreya, even though the partial incarnation of Vishnu, is Vibhinamsha, is not Swamsha, right? And then we discussed about Dattatreya. Who is Dattatreya? Dattatreya is one who has come to give us transcendental knowledge, and we discussed about how Dattatreya gives knowledge to Prahlad and many, many exalted personalities like King Yadu and others. And we also explained how the Avadhuta Brahman, which Krishna explains himself to Uddhava in Uddhav Gita, is none other than Dattatreya. Then we also explained about Lord Shiva. Explained about Soma dynasty, how Krishna is born in Soma dynasty, and how Soma is very actually blessed because Krishna decides to take birth in Soma dynasty. And then we discussed about Durvasa Muni, partial incarnation of Shiva, why he got actually so much anger and why he becomes pleased so easily, because he is a Amsha of Lord Shiva. So that is why he becomes angry and pleased so easily. And then how he helps Krishna in his Leela. So he is not a mystic yogi, but he is a very, very special soul, special jiva. Actually, he came here to actually help Krishna in his Leelas. So this is what I wanted to actually share with you all today. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Are you sure? Yeah, tell me. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to understand the definition of what is material. So material is not what we see. Correct? For example, the Lakshmi in your pocket and Lakshmi in somebody outsider's pocket, is somebody, the other outside pockets may be material, but your pocket may be spiritual. So it is basically what is your consciousness in using that thing for the service of Krishna. That is how it is. So first of all, understand that it is not that, having a material opulence means you have material attachments. If you are using the blessings given by Krishna in the service of Krishna, then those material things become spiritual. Anything we attach to Krishna is actually spiritual, right? That is why Krishna is what? Krishna हमारी मति होनी चाहिए, Krishna हमारी गति होनी चाहिए, Krishna हमारी रति होनी चाहिए. That is what Bhagavad Gita explains. What is that? Mati, rati and gati should be our goal. Our attachment should be Krishna. So we have to transform, we have to change our attachment from Krishna, from material things to Krishna. That is what is required. That's why when this says that to maintain material attachments, what is material attachment? Material attachment means you are actually trying to enjoy your senses through these material things. And the anartha nivritti stage, which is we are going through, is a very, very long process. It is not a short process. It cannot happen actually in a few years time. Prabhupada said it took him 40 years, 50 years to chant good rounds, to actually chant. So who are we? We are chanting probably last 20, 25 years. That's it. So many years, the Prabhupada took, and our chanting is, and we are not like empowered. But what we need to understand is that this process is correct. If we continue to follow this process, then we will be able to actually get this offense. We will actually able to actually, par this offense. क्या बोलते हैं? पार कर सकते हैं हम लोग नैया. We can. But for that, the first offense should be offense. The biggest problem with us is that in the first offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives. And we actually consider that, who are devotees? Our definition of devotees should be somebody who is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra even once is a devotee. When we actually stop doing that, automatically all these offenses come. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur says that the 11th offense is the offense of all the offenses. If you continue to do the 11th offense, then all these offenses, the first offense will start. Then from first lead to the second, second lead to third, third lead to, and come to 10th offense. What is the 11th offense? Inattentive chanting. When we actually not able to chant our rounds nicely, inattentively, all these offenses of blaspheming the devotees will come. And when you do Vaishnava Aparadh, then automatically patan happens. That is why what we have to do, our single most goal should be that we have to get attached to Krishna. If we have to get attached to Krishna, we have to do what Krishna likes. And what Krishna likes is Krishna likes to do is service. When we do service to Krishna, Krishna likes that. And what is the best service in this Kali Yuga? Chanting the holy names of the Lord. When you chant the holy names of the Lord nicely, Krishna becomes pleased, and Krishna becomes pleased. That is why last class, in Balaram Jayanti's class, I was giving an example. That, this is a hospital. This temple is a hospital. Okay, we are all actually, patients. And there is a chief doctor, there are nurses, there are attendants. The residents of the temple, or the people who are doing service in the temple, are like doctors, attendants and nurses. But who is the doctor? Guru is the doctor. Prabhupada is the doctor. Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj is the doctor. And unless, if you go to the outside hospital, if you go to American Mission, or if you go to Royal Bahrain, you go and get treated. Or if you go to Evexia, Shifa, if you go. So when you go, because two people are sitting from those hospitals, I have to tell their name, otherwise they'll offend. so when we go to the hospital, what happens? You actually get some medicine. If the doctor does not like you, but you take the medicine, you follow the diet what it is, will the medicine get affected? Yes, medicine have some effect, because there will be some effect, because the medicine is there. Doctor likes or doesn't like is not a factor when you do material problems. But in a spiritual problem, when this hospital you come, okay, it's not just taking the holy names nicely, attentively, just chanting just reading Srimad Bhagavatam attentively. It is just not that. Not taking yes, medicines have to be taken, but then the willingness and the mercy of Prabhupada and Gurudev has to be there for that medicine to get impacted. To have this detachment from material activities. To get detached from material activities, to get attached to Krishna. Detachment of material activities means what? To get attached to Krishna. You have to be attached. There is no way that, there is never a situation where you are not attached. You are either attached to material things or you are attached to spiritual things. So that attachment which has to be, when you get attached to spiritual activity, you slowly get detached to the material activities. And only by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, only by mercy of Gurudev, you can get this detachment. And how can you get their mercy? Huh? Yeah, by following their instructions. What is your Gurudev telling you? Follow that instructions nicely. When you follow that instructions nicely, then you will get attached. Like for example, Radhanath Maharaj was asked one time that can we please you? How can we please you? So he said that by actually, by serving this mission of Srila Prabhupada. These are 3 instructions he gave. The first 2 it's very heavy. The first heavy is that by serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada, by cooperating with everyone, making the mission of Srila Prabhupada as life and soul, with cooperation with everyone. This is first, he said, if you do that, it will please me. Second, he said that you should chant the holy names of the Lord attentively. If you do that, it will please you. So instructions are there. Now, if I want to, third one, but these 2 actually, it's remain in mind. So these 2 things, if I am able to do these 2 things at least 1 or 2 things nicely, what will happen? I will actually get his mercy. Otherwise, will I get my mercy of my Gurudev? I will not get the mercy. I can be a, temple president, chairman, vice chairman, or whatever I want to be here. But will that attract the mercy? That will not attract the mercy. Attraction of mercy means I follow the instructions of my Guru. When I follow the instructions of my Guru sincerely in my life, that's when mercy will come. And when that mercy comes, detachment comes. Otherwise, there is no way that detachment will happen in your life. You can chant nicely. You can come for Mangalarti every day. And you can chant so many years. But we will still continue to get attached. You have to get the mercy of Prabhupada. You have to get the mercy of Gurudev. And that is only by following the instructions. It's heavy, but that is the only solution. This hospital is there, but chief doctor's mercy has to also be there. He is giving the medicine, take that medicine. Chant the holy names of the Lord, read Srimad Bhagavatam day. But then, get his mercy. And his mercy is one which will actually, naiya paar karenge humko. We can go back to Godhead. Yeah? So this is very important to understand. That is how we can offend the offenses. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. Correct. So you have a nature which you come with, right? For example, you are from a particular varna. So everybody is classified into 4 varnas. Krishna Sukha classified, right? Somebody is a Kshatriya, somebody is a Brahmana, somebody is a Shudra, somebody is a Vaishya. So depending on your original nature, where you are, that mode is predominant in you. You can actually detect that mode. For example, if I look at my mode, I can see that my mode of passion is higher. I can detect that. But then what Prabhupada says is that by continuously following by doing our sadhana very nicely, you can slowly and steadily transcend and get into mode of goodness. But that is not predominant. For some people who are actually, like a Brahmana nature, for example, I see always, Srivas Prabhu. He is like always in a good mood. He actually has to work 7 days a week, still he is happy. I have not seen many people 7 days a week continuous working has to be happy. Because you have to be in a Brahmana consciousness to be happy like that. For example, for me, if I am given in that situation, I will be completely frustrated. Because my nature is to be in mode of passion. That is my predominant nature of mine. So if you put me, for example, in service of, okay, Prabhuji, you are now in charge of DT worship department. I will actually be miserable. I will do the service because somebody has instructed me, but I will be miserable in that service because my nature is not that. So depending on their nature, which you have, Krishna says that that nature will be revealed slowly and steadily. And you have to act based on your nature. It is better to do your activity based on your nature than to do somebody else's nature. That is what is very clear. So our nature, we have to actually spend some time within ourselves and put ourselves into those situations, see what is actually inside. If you analyze yourself, you will know that this is the predominant, and that predominant will be there always. There. For example, some people like to sleep a lot. They are actually, their mode of ignorance is influenced a lot. They are actually in that mode of ignorance from, and that previous life conditioning is also there. But then the nature is what actually determines your modes, where your majority of your modes gets attracted, or you attract those modes actually, in that sense. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we will thank His Grace Balwant Das Prabhuji for Nectarian class. So please chant one time Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So coming 11th September, we will be celebrating Radha Ashtami.